Hi everyone, my name is Coralie. I've been a wedding and family photographer for a bit more than 5 years now. I live in the UK, I live in Manchester, and I'm originally from the northwest of France. I grew up in the countryside close to Nantes, and I really love living in Manchester at the moment, even if nothing is going on at the moment with the COVID. Yeah, and today I'm going to talk about branding because it's something that I really love doing. I've been doing it forever, like for myself, and hopefully from what I learned, I'll be able to help you do your own branding or understand more why branding is really important for you. I really apologize because English is not my first language, so hopefully I won't do too many mistakes, and I hope that you'll be able to understand me. So yeah. So I studied photography and fine art in uni maybe 6 or 7 years ago, and I think it was really good to understand other photographers and art in general, to not just learn from other wedding photographers, but just from art in general, and to understand why photography is important. I think even if we are just wedding or family photographers, we all do it for a reason. We all have a purpose, and we need to understand what this reason is, so then we can serve our clients the best way and create the best memories for them. I think that the most important is really to have a good branding is to find yourself, to know who you are, what you like, what you enjoy in general, because you're unique. You're the only person that like exactly what you like. And I think this is really important because at the end, your clients will choose you because of you and not because of a price or anything else. I think, that's what I like thinking about. And so I think that by having a clear branding and a clear message, your clients are really gonna find why they need you to be their photographers. And I think that if you look at what inspires you in your everyday life, what kind of movies do you like? What kind of photographers do you like? What is your decoration inside your house? The way you dress? What you've been, what you've been doing? Where do you hang out? All of these things are really important, I think, because it really makes, make yourself unique, and you need to use that to brand yourself, not as a brand, but really about you. And from that, I think that you can really make photos that you love and that moves you for a reason, and not just taking beautiful pictures. So I think that by knowing yourself and knowing what truly your inspirations are will help you doing your branding. It's the way I do it for myself, and hopefully you're going to find it interesting. Because I think that if you follow the trends, you're going to be happy for a bit, but then after a while, I don't know, if it doesn't resonate with yourself, I don't know, what's the point? You want to do something that you will love and that your clients will love forever, and not just because it's trendy at one point. So the first thing that is important, I think, is to find keywords that will define what your inspirations are and what you like. So one way of doing it is by reading the reviews that your clients sent to you, because you will see that you have some like keyword that will come back, and you can use these words to like help you with your branding. For example, if people tell you that they love the photos because of the emotions they can find in it, you can reuse this, or because you're really good at portraits, or because you make them feel comfortable, or because you're really friendly, like all the things. I think you can put these keywords like on a side and like try to see how you could like show that it's what your strength is, because your clients really love that about you and your work. And then you can think about what inspires you and what moves the other person. Like for me, for example, I love nostalgic things. I love like historical things. I don't remember exactly what my keywords are, but because I do like these things pretty often, and it changes sometimes, but it's interesting to like do it every year to see if you still like the same kind of things, or like if you change. And I think emotions and like doing time-lapse photos, like thing that gonna like not change and like not follow the trends. And like to think about like your why you're a photographer. Why do you want to take photos of people, and why you're not like a landscape photographer, for example? Or like, I think if you decided to be a wedding photographer, it's because you love taking photos of people and you love taking photos of this particular moment. And I don't think that you want only to photograph one certain kind of person. I think like it's just impossible. So that's why like branding for one kind of client is hard, and to just like show who you are and then to let the client find you, it's better, because it's just like, then it's just who you are, and the people who love you will choose you, and you don't choose your client. I think it's better on this way, when people really want to hire you for a reason and not for a price, or like I said before. So I think that by having a strong branding and by having a brand that really represents something for you and will move you, then it's going to be easier for you to explain to your clients why this job is really important and what is your goal by being a wedding photographer. What do you want to capture from their day, and like things like that. So then when you think about your inspirations, the thing that I do is I try to find the photos that move me. So I can spend hours on Pinterest. So I try to like really, I don't know, dedicate like 1 hour. I'm going to be like, okay, for like the next hour, I'm going to try to find the pictures that I really love and try to understand why I love them, and try to find different kind of photos. So it can be like a lot of things. You can go into different websites as well. Like, I don't know if you know Polka magazine. It's about photographers, like war photographers or documentary photographers. So it's a totally different kind of photography. And I think it's important to take your inspiration from like lots of different horizons. So you bring something else and don't just like copy what other people are already doing. So like you probably have like photo books as well. You can like find in them the photos that you love, but like, maybe choose 20 photos, like 20 photos that you really love, and then you're gonna use them to like for your branding, to choose like the kind of colors that you love and like the kind of composition that you love, portraits, everything, and like to see what really moves you. And yeah, and I think that it's going to really help to like to know what you want, then to recreate, not just as like copying something, but like, do you like photos from the 20s or from the 70s or from the 90s? Like, they're really different. They use different films, different colors, people look different. Like, it's like all of these things, like, and it can be from different times as well. It can be from now. It's like really like try to find the thing that inspire you and then collect them all together. So then when I know the kind of photos that I want to choose, I put them into different folders. And once that is done, I'm going to show you like, it's pretty easy. So when I go on Pinterest, I just screen capture the photos then from these folders that I'm like, okay, yeah, these are the ones that I like for certain reasons, like for certain colors. For example, the skin colors is the one that I want, or the white or the kind of white that I want. Like, yeah, it's just really like try to find the kind of atmosphere you want to give to your photos. Like, and you can do both. Like, you can have really bright photos and really moody photos. I think it doesn't really matter when they are like representing a certain moment. I think it's more important that your colors are the same than really like bright or moody. So then I go on Photoshop and I put all these photos on like all together. And as you can see, I create a new library. Here, for example, we can call it like colors. And I'm going to choose with the, how's it called? Eyedropper. And then I'm going to choose like my favorite colors, and I'm going to put them into a white page and to put them together to kind of like understand them and see how they work together. So it's good to see what the complementary colors are. Like, for example, in this photo, the greens and the red are complementary. And I think they work really well together, and it's a kind of red and green that I like. As you can see, like on the other photos, it's the same. So like, this is just for an example. It's not actually the colors that I chose for my branding, but it's just to help you understand the process when I do that. So yeah, like I love this kind of skin tones. I always, like 99% of the time, take my inspirations from analog photography, because I think the colors are the best. And I wish I could just be like a film photographer, but unfortunately it's too expensive. And I just try to emulate them. And instead of buying presets, I just try to create the presets that I want. So yeah, like you can see here, like you can go from dark to bright colors and to choose like the primary colors that you love the most. And then I save them in my library like that. So I know that I will always have these colors. So when then I do like my guide, or when I do my website, all these colors are saved somewhere, and it's really easy to find them. So yeah, for me, colors are the main things. Like, this is really kind of like the most important thing in branding for me. know that it's really different. And I'm not like a graphic designer or something, but I'm just showing the way that I did it for myself. Like, I'm not saying that I don't know. I'm not saying that it's the best way possible. I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm just showing you like how I'm doing it, and because it's working for me. And so then with the colors that you've saved, it's going to help you to edit your photos. So I use that. I use like, I'm going to show you later, but I split my screen in like two different windows. And so I have my Lightroom, because I edit my photos on Lightroom, and then I have like the photos that I'm inspired by, and I use the colors as well that I use for my branding. So then I know that like if I'm processing a photo and there is a lot of green in it, for example, I want my green to be the kind of green that I like, or like same for the red, or the skin tones. And so I will have different photos as a reference for what I'm editing. Like the kind of skin tone that you have inside or outside is not the same. So I will have like my reference photos from this different kind of environment as well. I think it's really important not to just want to copy like one photo. I don't know, like if the photo you love has been taken in an island at like during sunset, and then you're trying to recreate these colors on your photo that you took in the UK in the morning, for example, it's just completely impossible. So it needs to be realistic. So here, for example, you can use Adobe Color, which is a program, like it's a website online. And then when you put your photo on it and you click the different colors that you love, it's gonna show you these colors. And so then you can copy the name of the color on your Photoshop if you want to, like, I don't know, save time and put them into your library. I think it's interesting to understand what are the strong colors and what are the neutral colors. But on a wedding day, it's different. You have to work with what's already on it. And so you can just think about it then when you're shooting, like if the like bride is wearing white and the, I don't know, the usually it's like black or blue suit for the husband, but then you can try to like find a background that could work with it. Or if you shoot a photo of someone with a really bright color, wearing a really bright color, then it's better to choose like a neutral background. Like just try to play with the colors. And so it's not just really when you edit, it's when you shoot the photos as well, like to be aware of the environment and the different colors that already exist, like in the nature and everything. And so then you can play with that. So yeah, it's a fun thing to do. And then what is important in the branding is the fonts that you choose. Sometimes we forget about it, but fonts are really important because if you choose, I don't know, like maybe you never like realize that, but you have two kind of fonts. So you have one that is serif and one that is sans serif. Yeah. And so you can see the difference on like the side of the letters. Sometimes you have like a little tail on the letter. And so it means that it's a serif font. And when you don't have it, when like the letters are like sticks, it's called sans serif. And so what is good for your branding is to mix one of each, like to choose one font which is serif and one font that is sans serif. And so you're going to use these fonts everywhere, like in your guides, in your website, so maybe on your emails. I don't know if you want to do that, but yeah, like, so it's important to choose the fonts at the beginning. So then wherever your clients are, like they're gonna like know that it's been written by you. So yeah, like people say that it's good to have 3 different fonts or styles, but I think it's good to choose 2 and then to have one in, how is it called? Italic? I don't know, because it's called italic in French. I need to check that. Yeah, so it's italic. So yeah, I think the best is to choose, for example, 2 different ones. So you can choose, I don't know, like the title in serif and then the subtitle in non-serif. And you can have quotes in italic, and then you can choose to have the body in serif or non-serif from the same. So like, yeah, choose 2 different ones and then put like some in bold and some in italics to like give some dynamic to your text. But then I think like the best is to be like as simple as possible. Like, so then your message is clear as well. And yeah, if you can do the test and go on any website that you like and to see what other kind of fonts that they're using. If you go on Vogue, for example, you will see like what is the title they're using, like how big it is, the subtitles, the body. Like some people prefer to have serif for the body, some people prefer to have sans serif. So here you can see, for example, different pairings. So they choose like Baskerville and Open Sounds, or Montserrat and Adobe Garamond, or Proletar and Avenir. And you can see that for each pairing, they choose like one serif and one sans serif. Consistency is the key. Like really try to keep a cohesion and uniformity in everything. And then what is really important as well is the voice from, I don't know, just like be yourself. Like don't try to be someone else. That's really easy to say, but I don't know. I think a good thing to do is to think about like your best friend, for example, because your best friend, you love them, but they love you as well. And there are reasons for that. So when you write on your website, write like you talking to your best friend, because you know that they're going to enjoy reading it. Like they're going to enjoy reading you. And like, it's better to think about someone who is not in the wedding industry. So, because if you know that if you're talking to like, if your best friend is a photographer as well, you won't talk to him the same way that if you're talking to your best friend who is, I don't know, like working in architecture or being a farmer or a nurse, I don't know, like who is working in a really different environment. So if you think about like one of your really good friend who is working in a different environment, then you're gonna explain things in a different way, because you need to think about your clients. And when they come to like ask to get more information from you, they don't know anything about wedding photography. They don't really know what to expect for their wedding days. So you will need to explain them you're gonna have to explain your approach. You're gonna have to explain what is their, I don't know, what the wedding day it's gonna be like, because you photographed a lot of wedding days probably, so you know better than them what it's gonna be like, and you need to like reassure them and guide them and answer all of their questions. And so yeah, just write your blogs or your guide like you were talking to a friend who don't know anything about weddings. Like, because even if sometimes you think that, I don't know, it's that it's normal, that it's because you've been working on it for such a long time. Like, yeah, like for example, your friend who's a nurse probably think that her job is like not just like a normal job, but for you there are so many things that you don't know about a job. So yeah, I think it's good to do that, or maybe just do it, like explain your work to her and see, or him, and like see what their questions are, and or your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your mom or your dad or like someone you're really close to, and see what the questions are from them, or like maybe try to see what the questions are from your couples usually, like what do they ask you, and so then it's going to help you when you write your guide on, or when you write your blog post to explain things, because like your goal is to help people, like to write something that is going to be valuable and something that is going to help them to schedule their wedding, or like to plan and prepare the wedding day. So yeah, I think it's good to have like to use the same voice. So again, for it, like these cohesive way of like having everything clear, so people can trust you and like trust your experience and everything. So then when you arrive on the shooting, like shooting day, it depends if it's a wedding or a couple session or anything, it has to be an experience for them. And so all the thing that you've used in your branding before needs to be the reality of what's going to happen during this time when you're shooting, because you need to be true to yourself. And you want your clients to remember the session and to remember you as well, because they chose you for lots of reasons. Probably your photos, because they love your photos, but probably also because they think that they have things in common with you and that they could be friends with you. And so if you arrive at the shooting or at the wedding and you're a totally different person, they're gonna be like, what? It's not the person that I thought it was. So if you're true to yourself in your branding and the way you talk on your website and your guide and your emails and stuff, like then when you arrive on the day, they know it's you and they know like what to talk about with you. Like they're going to trust you, they're going to be comfortable with you, and that's so important. I am not an introvert because it's pretty easy for me to talk to people, but I'm still like a quiet person. I'm really into like a reflection kind of thing. Like during the shooting, I don't talk a lot. I don't guide people a lot because I love to see what's happening in front of my eyes. Like I'm going to make them comfortable and I'm going to tell them things to do. But yeah, like I won't be shooting and be like, oh yeah, I love this or I love that. Like it's just not who I am. But I know that some people are really good at that. And so I think that if you know yourself, then you're going to be true to yourself. And like, then if people hire you for that, I think maybe the kind of people you're going to hire you, like for me, I know that my clients are maybe a bit quiet as well. Like they're not super loud, and I'm not going to ask them to do crazy things. I'm not going to ask them to be like naked and run on a field, for example, or even like to jump on each other's back. Or maybe if they want to do it, it's fine, but I'm more into like the reflective moments, and I'm going to play music for them like on my speaker and let them have a nice time. And I'm just going to be like on their side and photographing them. Like on the wedding day, it's different, but even on the wedding day, I try to be as discreet as possible and try to be here for them if they need me. But I'm not going to be like super close to them all the time and taking them away for an hour for like super stylish portrait. Like some people did really well and it's good, but my clients didn't hire me for that. And like I think your clients will hire you for who you are as well. And that is really important because the experience is really important. And so if you want, for example, to arrive with some ideas on the shooting that you want to try, like, it's fine, you can, but try to really focus on them instead of what you want. Like, it's good to have a few shoots that you want to have, but maybe do them at the end, like when they're comfortable. And yeah, it's just make them have fun and have fun as well, which doesn't mean that you have to be like super eccentric. Do you say that? Like super like loud and stuff. Like fun is, it doesn't mean that. Like fun is like mean do what you like and what your clients like. For example, I send them a questionnaire before to know the kind of thing that they like doing together. And then like when it's portraits time, I'm gonna just ask them to do that, like the thing that they love doing, like they like telling jokes to each other, and I don't know, just try to like remember memories and things, or like maybe run if they want, like to have some actions and stuff. But yeah, it's just know what you love and know who you are and help them have a great time. Because if they have a great time and you have a great time, you're going to be really excited to edit the photos, and then you're going to be like much quicker and efficient if you love the photos to like send them back to them than if you're like, oh, I didn't really like the photo, I didn't really like the sessions. Like maybe it's going to happen as well. You never know. But I think if you both had a great experience and you send them the photos quickly and they're super happy, then they're going to recommend you to lots of people, and you're going to probably photograph them when they have like babies, if you want to photograph families as well. It's really about like, yeah, this relationship with you and your clients. Like try to be as spontaneous and nice, and just, yeah, it's just a nice job that we have. And so it's just about like having a great time doing it. And so, yeah, as I was saying before, maybe you want to do like some styling shoots, or maybe you have some engagement sessions when the couple is telling you that they would like you to guide them and to create something for them. So then that is when I use the color mood board, or like that I made before. All of these colors are the colors that I took from the inspiration photos. And so these are like photos that I love and complementary photos. And so then you can use that, like, I don't know, I just chose like Adobe Wheels again on their website, Adobe Color Wheel. And so you can choose here, you can see that there is complementary colors. And so here is like blues and kind of like golden and greens. And so if you work with a stylist or a set designer, or if your clients tell you that they want to go, I don't know, like in the mountains, like when it's really green, or like in the forest, then you can tell them that they could be wearing like blue, dark blues like that. They could use like gold as well. Or if you're going to the sea and then you have these kind of blues, you could tell them to wear this kind of green and gold. And yeah, it's just like, I don't know, have fun again. See what you like, and you can just like prepare, like be aware that the colors are really important at the end when you edit your photos. Or like, yeah, it's just gonna help you to know like how you can have the photos that you like, from like to go as close as possible from your inspirations, because then you know the colors that work together for your edit. Then I think the most important thing is to be consistent. So to have the same kind of edit all the time. It doesn't mean that it has to like look the same, because if you go in Scotland to shoot in the Highlands when it's like really foggy, and if you shoot then a wedding in the south of France, it's not going to be the same atmosphere at all. Like, that is for sure. And so I think that the brightness is going to be different, but the colors can still be similar, I think. And so, yeah, I think that, again, like, you can use your inspiration and the mood board that you made before to like stay true to the color that you love. And then from that, creating your own presets. I think that presets are hard to work with sometimes because they're not going to work for every situation. I've never seen like a one-click preset that works, like, to be honest with you, even if I would love that. But even with the one I create, I always have to edit them all the time. But I think because I have this reference collage on the side, then I know that from different situations, different lightnings and colors, I'm able to edit my photos in the way that I like. It doesn't mean that you have to do that all the time, to have your reference collage all the time on the side of Lightroom, because sometimes it can be not really helping you, because if you think about it too much, you will work too much on your photos, on the edit and things. So it's really like practice that's going to help you. What I do when I shoot a wedding is like I select my favorite ones. Like I shoot maybe like 3,000 photos, and then I'm gonna select 800 photos, and then from these 800 photos I'm gonna select my 200, 300 favorite ones. And so I'm gonna really work on the edit on these photos, and I'm gonna like work with the collage at the beginning to have the colors I want, like the moods that I want. And then when I'm happy with that, I work on them all, and then I send them a slideshow with that, and then I work on the other one by synchronizing the settings, the settings, and I still like edit them one by one, and then I send them the full gallery, so they still have like the slideshow with like all my favorite photos that tell a story of the day, and then the like rest of the photos. It takes a long time to edit all the photos one by one, and I think if you're a bit more if you're a bit more perfectionist on these 300 photos, it's okay. But then on the rest, you can't spend too much time, because like, apart, like, if you price yourself a lot of amount of money, then maybe you can spend a lot of time editing the photos. But if not, you need to spend as little time as possible, which can be still like 2 or 3 days maybe. But don't spend like 2 weeks or one entire week. I think it's a lot of time. And like, I do like I set like a calculator to like know how much you should price yourself, like from like knowing how much you work on each wedding, and then to like divide that into like a hourly rate to know how to price yourself for weddings. And really, like, I can tell you that if you spend a lot of time editing your photos, then your price should be a lot more than what you price yourself. So yeah, I think that 2 days to edit your photos is like a maximum if you want to not to spend all your time editing photos and not enjoying your time with your family, or working on something else like your branding or your marketing or all the things. So now I'm going to show you this is my Lightroom. you can see that some photos are in red. So these are part of like the 300 photos I selected for the wedding. It was a wedding I did this year, like a COVID wedding in London. And so you can see on the left, it's my mood board with like the photos that inspire me. I have a lot of photos, but it's just have different kind of colors. Like you can see that some are more like blue and things, and like more yellow, warm. I think it's good to have like cold and warm photos. And so this is like the before after. I try to like still stay true to what the photo looked like before. My head is not really heavy, but I think I'm more into showing a mood than yeah. I think it's important to stay true to what the photo was before as well, because it's what they're like remember it was like if like here, for example, it was a rainy day, so the light was pretty dark, and so then I'm gonna give them a photo that was pretty dark. These are the profile that I use, but you can use different kind of, I think it's good to know what you're working with. And then I just change the temperature and the tint to kind of like give an atmosphere that is, yeah, like close to how it was. And so because it was dark, like processing a photo that is still dark, but you can choose to make it like warmer, to put the white balance a bit warmer or a bit colder. It really depends on what you want, like the mood of the photo to be like. And when it's wedding, I think I prefer when it's a bit warmer than too cold. And I always try to have like my blacks to not be too black, and the contrast to be like not really contrasty. These are my colors. I work on all of them, I think. And yeah, so I try like the yellow to be a bit more like brighter, so the skin is a bit more brighter. Here I didn't work on the color grading, but sometimes, yeah, I can bring a little bit of pink in the highlights, yeah, or blue. It really depends. I think you need to see what it looks like, but maybe don't go too heavy, because or go too heavy if you want. It has to be like your signature, and it has to go with your branding again. Like it really is like, I don't know, if you like, what could you like, for example? If you like into metal music and you photograph couples are into that too, and that that have like lots of tattoos and are gonna do like a gothic wedding or something, maybe they will like a heavy edit. I don't know. I think you need to understand what you like and what your clients would like. For me, I think I tried to be as close as analog photography, and it means that it's gonna be soft tones, some contrast, and yeah, like I think the contrast needs to be like soft as well, and the black not too deep. It's what I found that I like, and the white not to be too bright. I like the skin tones to be a bit, it depends, sometimes a bit green and sometimes a bit red, but not really saturated, so pretty pale. Yeah, I think like you really need to look at them, like look at the images one by one on your reference mood board, and understand like what on each photo do you like and why you like that. So yeah, when I do my branding, I do a style board at the beginning. So with my favorite colors, my favorite fonts, what is the background color I'm gonna choose on my website and on my guides, what is my logo. So you can create that as well. I just did that on Photoshop. And so this board is gonna be your reference when you do like all of your like branding things, and you want them to be consistent. You want the fonts to be the same everywhere and the colors to be the same everywhere. Like again, for the trust, like you want people to see your brochure and to know that it's you from your wedding. I don't want them to be too different because they need to know that it's your brochure. And so I think when you have this, and maybe if you want to get like a graphic designer to make your logo, then you can have these colors and these fonts are, and like just think that you took from your inspiration or anything to show your graphic designer what you like and then the kind of branding that you want. I think it's going to help. Always go back to your why and to know why you're wedding photographer. And I think that for your logo, it's good to be simple. It's good to have a logo that you still gonna love in a few years. So yeah, the simplest it is. And you can even trick it a bit, like in a few years. We've seen some brands who did that like recently. I don't know if you've heard about it, but the fashion brand Celine did it. It changed the accent on the E, and people really talking about like telling that it's going to change the brand. Well, it didn't, but it's just to show you that, yeah, even when you change something a little bit, people can notice it. So it's good to choose something that you can like, something timeless from the beginning. I know that you can make like, sometimes you can spend hours and hours and days and weeks thinking that your design is really important when I think it's not that important. Like I'm doing a course about, like I'm doing a talk about it at the moment. So yes, it is important, but I don't think you should spend like an entire month trying to design the perfect website, for example. Like be clear before to know like what your inspirations and what your branding is like, and then do your website when you know all that. Because if you start doing your website without knowing your branding, what your brand is like, then you're gonna waste so much time to like try different fonts, try different colors, try different presentations. I've done all that. Like I wasted so much of my time when I started to be like, I wanted to have like a really pretty website, but then I didn't have the content that like was working with. So like it was aesthetically, it was really good, but then I didn't spend enough time on the content on my website. So I think if you do your branding before and you do your website, then do it like quickly, and yeah, don't waste so much time into like doing your website. Spend time doing your branding. Don't spend too much time into designing your website, because your content is really important as well. And you need to write good copy, like text that really represent who you are, more than just making something aesthetically pleasing. I think that it like, that's why branding is more than just a logo, or more than just like a pretty branding. Like it's really about yourself and your message that you deliver to your clients. So here I'm showing you how I design these mood boards. So I just choose the fonts, and then you can as well keep this font into your library. So then when you, I don't know if you design your guide with Photoshop, for example, when you write your text in your guides, you have your fonts in your library, so you don't have to look for other fonts. Like, you've done this work, and then so it's gonna be really quick because you already have all that. So you're gonna have to spend more time writing content, but not about the design itself. And the same on your website. Once that you know your colors, your fonts, like your voice, you're gonna spend less time like focusing on the aesthetic of it because you've already done this work. So then like it's not such a big task. And I think it's really important. So when you do this mood board, you just like, it's just like to save it somewhere. So then, you know, if you do your website, you just go back to it and you're like, oh, what was the font that I was using? And you just like, know it. And what were the colors? What was the name of the color? It's just like you have a reference with all these info, and it's gonna save you so much time. What you can do as well is that instead of using your inspiration photos to create these colors, once you're happy with the way you edit your photos, you can just choose colors from your own photos and put them into these colors. So so then if you use these colors on your website or on your guide, they will work with your photos really well. And I think it's a good thing to do. So again, what I was saying before, be consistent. Here you can see on the left, it's my wedding pricing guide, so my brochure with all the info. And on the right, it's my website. And I really tried to choose the same kind of colors, so like a neutral color for the background, the same kind of font as well. So I feel like once my clients have seen my website and they ask for the brochure and I send them that, they know it's the same person because it's like cohesive and like, you can see that it's the same kind of photos as well. And it's good to reuse the same photos because people have seen your photos on your website and they love them, and then they contact you and they see these photos again on your guide, and they're like, oh yeah, I remember, I really love this photo. So just, you can add new photos as well, but put photos that people already like. You can use your Instagram as well to see what are the photos that people love the most on your Instagram, and then you can use these photos to be on your portfolio or to use these photos on your guide or on your website because you already know that people love them. So then when you choose them, like, it's just gonna be a nice thing for people to like see. And like, it's like the reviews, you know, if people say something about your work, always like consider it, like take notes, like remember what are the words they use to like talk about your work. What kind of emotions do you like pass through your work as well in your photos? Like, I think listen to them and they're gonna help. It's gonna help you. So that was it. I hope that you find interesting things and that it's gonna help you to create your own branding as well, and to know more about yourself and to know more about your inspirations, and then that's going to help you edit your photos as well. Again, find your keywords, find what your clients are telling about you, find your inspirations, use websites like that you love, like, I don't know if you like Vogue or Pinterest or like, any kind of photographers that you love, just like save them somewhere, create folders about it, find the colors that you love, try to learn about what are the colors you love in the photos you saved, and what are the kind of lights that you love in these as well. Find the fonts that you think go well with your branding. Really try to stay coherent. Don't use like a romantic font if you're not like a romantic person, or like, I don't know, just try to know like what you are like. Or maybe you can use like a similar font that when you're handwriting, like what are the kind of letters that you do. You can reuse that as well. Like, and yeah, find your voice, talk like you talking to a friend, be true to yourself, because you're a unique person and people are going to choose you because of you, because they love you. So then during the shooting, you need to be true to yourself as well. Just have fun, make people feel confident, and yeah, find an edit that you love. This is really hard. I'm still struggling with that sometimes. Yeah, I've been working on that for maybe 6-7 years. Before I was a wedding photographer, I was already working on how to edit the photos. And now I'm happy, but I'm still working on it. I think it's a never-ending thing. Yeah, like create your style board, anything really that's going to help you and save you a huge amount of time. Then when you're going to make your website and your guide, like do this work, like know your why, have a clear message. This is really important. Yeah, so if you think that you don't have time or that you don't have the knowledge to make these guides, for example, I'm selling some templates on my website that you can get. And for these workshop, I don't know if it's called a workshop, is it called like a summit or something? For this event, I'm giving 20% off on the template, and for the 3 first people to buy a template, I'm going to offer them a 1-hour Zoom video to help them creating the template or like modifying the template on Photoshop, and maybe to see with them what they're struggling with their branding, and maybe help them find their inspiration or anything. Yeah, I'm offering mentoring as well. I'm trying to help people as much as I can. I think it's really important to help people with what you've learned from your experience, because every time you help people, you learn something from yourself, and then you can serve better your clients as well. So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this little chat with me. And if you want to contact me, you can. I have different Instagrams, so I have like Coralie.Monnet_weddings for my wedding Instagram, or Coralie.Monnet for my family Instagram, and you can just like send me a message or anything. I'd love to connect with you and to know what you're thinking about branding. And if you have like any struggles or anything, just let me know. I'll be really happy to help you. Thank you, and bye-bye.